So Trump is continuing to be what they call the divider-in-chief during this moment of reckoning in our country. Yesterday, he completely shot down the idea of renaming Confederate military bases as just one area that he goes to, including Fort Benning in Georgia, which, by the way, is named after a General Henry Benning, who was an enthusiastic slave I don't know if he held slaves, but he was very pro-slavery. He felt that abolition would lead to black governors and black legislatures and black juries and black everything. And he didn't like that at all. So they named Fort Benning after him. So, but Trump says, I'm not changing that if I have anything to do with it. Why is he doing that? We know he's appealing to his base. Is there any other reason why he would be doing something like that?
Because it's part of his narrative to continue to lift up those who were strongmen, who used their domestic terrorism to rip our nation apart. And what I want to point out is that, you know, our time is now. My book focuses on voter suppression, but it also talks about the issues of identity politics, the way that Donald Trump and his ilk are trying to turn our identities into weapons against us instead of seeing it as ways to serve us. It flows through how we run our elections, how we issue resources. It's part of how they've treated the census, and it's part of the resistance to acknowledging that this nation has a problem with systemic racism. If we want justice for all, then we have to acknowledge how justice is denied, and that is the argument that Donald Trump is doing his best to avoid.
Stacey, George Floyd's brother gave such an emotional speech to lawmakers yesterday, asking them to stop the pain and make sure his death isn't in vain. From your perspective, I know that you marched with for Rodney King about 30 years ago. Do you think the current moment in America is different? Because it feels like deja vu to me, honestly.
It's deja vu, not only of 1992, but of the 1890s, the 1700s. We have had a problem with with accepting the humanity of communities of color in this nation from its inception. It's the Native Americans, it's African Americans, it's Latinos, it's Asian American Pacific Islanders. We have a problem, but like any disease, it can be treated, but the treatment takes time. It takes voting so that at each election, we elect leaders who represent who we are and who reflect our values. It takes demonstrations that don't dissipate. And that's why I'm so excited that this has been going on now for more than 14 days, because people want change. And what's most important is that it's multicultural, multi-ethnic, and multi-generational. But the people leading the conversation are young people, and their voices are the most important, because they are the ones who will inherit what we have broken, and they're the ones who have the clearest view and vision of what we can become.
It's a great thing. Thank you, Stacey Abrams. And your new book, Our Time Is Now, is available right now